Well, you may have heard this fellow on my radio show, and we had vowed from the first time we talked, because we hit it off, that we needed to meet in person. This is Phil. Phil graduated from Garfield High School in 1943 and is a World War II combat veteran. And Phil, I cannot tell you how honored I am to finally meet you in person, because I love having you on the radio show.
Well, it's a pleasure meeting you, Dori, believe me.
First time you were on, it got such a response. I was telling you before we started rolling here that my listeners are in love with you, Phil.
I can't believe it, but I'll take what I can get.
How old are you now?
I'm going to be 97 in February.
Okay, and you're a sex symbol now, according to my listeners.
Oh, good. They could only see me now.
So I want to talk about the first time you were on. We talked about you getting drafted. You were 18?
18 years old, right out of high school.
You get a letter in the mail? Is that how it works? Would you get a letter in the mail telling you were drafted?
I've forgotten how we signed up. I didn't enlist.
Oh,
I didn't volunteer. But I was drafted.
Right. Was that scary?
No.
The war had been going for a couple of years, and you'd heard about the things that were going on over there in the European theater, and we had a maniac, Adolf Hitler, and we called on a bunch of 18-year-old kids to save the world.
Yeah, like on one of your other interviews, I was too young. I was too interested in other things, girls.
Yeah. So you had to leave the ladies. That must have been tough. You had to leave the girls to go off to Europe.
Yeah. No, I was lucky enough to, my first tour of duty was in La Jolla, California.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, if this is Army life, I go for it, because what could be better than living in San Diego at 72 degree average?
And how long after that did you get shipped to Europe?
About a year.
Okay. And that was not scary either?
Well, we had some good training. We had good people teaching us, and we knew what to expect, but the training and the real war are two different things.
Yeah.
I mean, it helped. In fact, I learned as much in the Boy Scouts as I did in some of the training I did. So,
well, I remember you telling me about you were on a mound. I mean, I can't believe how much and how precise your memory is of those first days in Europe, because you described being on a mound with a single tree and a leaf fell, and from your training you know that it was enemy fire that hit that leaf. Am I getting that right?
Yes, yeah, you got it right. In fact, my son-in-law, Greg, reminded me about, well, I told you some of the stories there.
Yeah.
But I actually buried my dog tags.
Over there, or when you got home?
In where this mound was, where this tree was, I buried my dog tags because I thought we were going to be captured. And being Jewish, I heard about the atrocities that the Germans were applying to us.
And your religion, your faith was identified on the dog tags,
and
right?
the dog tag had an H for Hebrew.
Okay.
And I didn't want to be part of that, so I buried them. And the next day we went back and I dug them up, put them back on again.
Do you still have them?
I do.
Really?
I do. They're right here in the house.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Yep.
I did not know until just now that you are Jewish. And was there special meaning for you knowing what Hitler was doing to the Jews over there? I mean, did you have an even greater purpose?
Yeah. It dug deep. As a matter of fact, we liberated a concentration camp. That's another story.
Well, I want to hear that story. Where was the concentration camp?
In Nordhausen, Germany.
Okay, so you're right in the thick of things there.
Yes.
Oh, tell me that. How far into your service over there did that happen?
It was I think right after the Battle of the Bulge.
Okay.
Things were on the upswing for us, and we'd heard about the concentration camps, but we didn't know what they were, nor had we talked to anybody that had been in one. It's all that they say it was. This particular camp held about 5,000 inmates, prisoners.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Jews, but political people, gypsies, political dissenters, that sort of thing. And it's quite a mixture of people. When we ran across the camp, we did not know exactly what it was because it was all fenced in barbed wire fencing. When we broke into the camp, these people just poured out of barracks, frail, and we found out later that it was a camp where they made parts to the V-2 rockets.
Wow.
That they bombed England with. And
Phil, you're making me cry with this story. No, I mean it. I mean, to hear this from you, can you describe physically the concentration camp?
I can. I didn't. We weren't there long enough to spend much time with them, but I'm going to break up too.
Okay, that's okay. Although you're going to make me start crying harder then.
When the prisoners poured out of their barracks in happiness,
yeah,
not knowing who we were or what we were, and malnutritioned, just skin and bones, crematoriums, the ovens. We saw it all. We fed them parts of our K rations, cheese and crackers and candy bars, cigarettes, and in some cases, the food was so rich for them that they died at our feet. It's hard to believe, but that's exactly what happened. And if there's any people that still don't believe that there was the Holocaust or concentration camps, have them talk to me.
Well, you're going to reach
I
a lot
saw
of people here.
I saw it first class, firsthand.
Yeah. Where were the Germans? Where were the Nazis when you went in there?
They're gone. They blew. They were gone.
And so the prisoners, you said they didn't know who you were, but did they know that you were their saviors?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you describe that for me? That moment of, we don't have that kind of intensity of human moments, certainly not 18, 19-year-old kids. Can you describe the intensity of, I mean, you've already described the when they were eating the rich food, but you freed thousands of people.
I don't understand your question.
It must have been a very intense emotion. I mean, you're so emotional even today, almost 80 years later. I can't imagine what it was like back then.
The emotion was there. That's for sure, and we still were in disbelief at some of the things that we saw. That how some people could be so inhumane, to treat other people the way that the prisoners were treated. The crematorium, they had a room. We didn't see the crematorium when we broke into the camp.
Okay.
It was just a very short distance away. The camp was huge. I don't know, the size of 2 or 3 football fields.
Yeah.
To hold that many prisoners. And
let me ask you. We all know today what heroes your generation was and is. Did you feel like heroes at the time?
No.
Why not?
No. I don't know. It was a job to do, and we did it. And I don't know. Just again, too young.
Yeah.
19 years old, still don't realize what the rest of the world was like. It just I don't know. I can't, Dori. I can't put it into words. I'm not an author, and I don't have the speech implements to understand everything.
Yeah. No, you're very humble, and I say I can't imagine what that was like for how intense it was. What did you have? I know about the latrine story. You told me that.
Yeah.
What do you have another moment you remember that was just particularly fun or funny or silly when you were serving over I mean, you were in hell over there, but did you have moments where you just still carry around really great memories?
There were not many silly days in our life. It just seems like wherever we went in Germany, I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. That is okay. How you came home? You came straight back to Seattle after the war?
Yes.
What was the first thing you did after what you experienced over there. What'd you do when you came home?
Well, we had a 30-day leave. It wasn't the joyous skip and jump and holding hands, because we knew that after the 30 days we were to report to a camp in San Luis Obispo.
Okay, yep.
To be shipped to Japan to fight the Japanese War. And we were to be one of the leading first forces on the Japan Empire, and if it weren't for President Truman dropping the 2 atom bombs,
Yep.
I don't know if I'd be sitting here today or not. They expected losses upwards to 1 million people, Japanese and Americans. Yeah. And so it never did get to be shipped out. And we sat around the camp in San Luis Obispo they were looking for things for us to do until we got enough points to get discharged. And I remember I had 46 points, and I think I had to hang around that camp for 2 or 3 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
Trying to, I had a Army driver's license, so one of my duties was to be on a garbage detail, drive the truck for, let's see, there were prisoners from Italy, Italian prisoners of war.
Okay.
And we made life miserable for them, like slamming on the brakes, making them fall out of the truck.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're a rascal, Phil.
Oh, tell you, just.
Okay, one more thing I want to talk with you about. After you came home, you worked a lot of jobs. We were talking about this before we started recording. You sold paint, you sold records and cassettes, and you started to tell me a story, and I said, no, let's wait until we're recording. You had breakfast with Frank Sinatra every Monday?
Yeah, when I joined ABC in Newport Beach, my territory was Southern California, all the way to the Mexican border. And one of my favorite areas was Riverside, California, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, Indio.
Yep.
We used to sell records and tapes to Loma Linda College.
Sure.
In Riverside. And one of my accounts was a jazz musician owned. His name was Pete Barbarous, and we supplied him with records, tapes, racks to hold the records.
Right. Okay.
And I used to be there at 9 o'clock every Monday morning to spend about 2 or 3 days covering that territory and inventory their
sure.
tapes and records. And one morning I was there taking inventory, and I hear this voice saying, make sure there's lots of Sinatra records there. And not knowing who it was or what it was, Didn't even turn around to see who it was. And I said something like, "Oh yeah, there's always lots of Sinatra records here." And I turned around, and it was, I was introduced by Pete to Frank Sinatra. And I did a double take, and if he were alive today, he wouldn't know. Okay. He wouldn't know who I was. And we used to flip coins to see who would buy coffee and donuts across the street at coffee shop.
Wait a sec. Frank Sinatra, if you lost the coin toss,
I lost the
Frank Sinatra made you pay?
Many of them, yes.
That's
yes.
not right.
Yes. Oh God, we had some laughs, and I wish he were alive today. I don't know if he would remember it or not. I'm sure he would. He and Pete were very good friends, and
you know what's strange to me as I hear this story, though? Frank Sinatra is one of the most famous people of all time. He's a name that everybody knows. But if I put you up against Frank Sinatra, Phil, you're the hero. I mean, you did much more than Frank Sinatra ever did. And I know you don't feel that way, and I know that you don't look at yourself that way, but I think that's how most of the world views you and your generation.
Yes, it's yeah, in visiting the area where I was once, it certainly brings back fond memories.
Yeah, I can understand
so that. It just lucky to be alive. I've had lady luck on my left shoulder and the good Lord on my right shoulder, and somebody's been watching out for me.
I think it's been the right shoulder, Phil. Yeah. I think it's been the good Lord looking out for you.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
I cannot tell you how honored I am to meet you in person.
Well, I'm just as honored as you are, believe me.
That's nonsense. I'm nobody compared to you, Phil.
Oh.
We're going to have our phone conversations for a long, long time still?
I hope so. I hope so. I'm getting hearing aids. If I could see and hear.